He laughed in my face. "You're not rich enough to need a prenup," he said, tilting his head like he'd just told the funniest joke in the world. I smiled. Okay. My name is Brittany Curran. I'm 32 years old, and until that moment, I thought I was marrying a man who respected me. I own a small design consultancy, not glamorous, not billionaire level, but it's mine. I started it from a single laptop and late-night coffee runs after my corporate job. 10 years later, it pays for my townhouse, my car, and my peace of mind. I don't need luxury. I need stability. Bruce Carter, on the other hand, was born into luxury. His father owns a chain of high-end furniture stores across the state. His mother throws charity galas and brunches that get featured in glossy lifestyle magazines. When Bruce and I started dating 2 years ago, I thought he was the exception in that kind of family, down-to-earth, independent funny. He proposed after 2 years together in the same restaurant where we had our first date. Candlelight, a ring, applause from strangers. I cried. He smiled. For the first time, I let myself imagine a future I didn't have to build alone. But then 2 months into our engagement, I brought up a prenup. It wasn't about distrust. It was about balance. My previous relationship had ended after my ex used my savings to invest in a friend's business that mysteriously vanished. I told myself I'd never walk into another commitment without clarity. So one night after dinner, while we were cleaning up, I said casually, "Hey, when you have a moment this week, we should talk about a prenup." He froze mid-motion, a wine glass still in his hand. "A what?" "A prenup," I said again, careful not to sound defensive. "Just something simple to protect both of us." The laugh that came out of him wasn't a nervous chuckle. It was a full, sharp, mocking laugh that echoed in the kitchen. "A prenup, babe. You make good money, sure, but come on. You're not exactly Jeff Bezos." I stayed quiet. He mistook my silence for agreement. "This is embarrassing," he added. "If anyone hears about it, they'll think you don't trust me." "You really want people to think that?" "It's just protection for both sides, Bruce," I said softly. "We both have things we've worked hard for." He smirked. "Protection from what your IKEA, furniture, and student loans." That one stung. He turned back to washing dishes, his voice light. "Relax, babe. My parents' lawyer can help us sort out anything if we ever need it. You don't have to pretend you're rich." I remember every word, every tone, every casual flick of his wrist, as if the subject didn't deserve another second. "Okay," I said finally. "If it makes you uncomfortable, we'll just drop it." But I didn't drop it. That night I called Christine, my lawyer and close friend since college. "Brittany," she said, half asleep. "You're calling me at midnight. This must be important." "It is," I whispered. "I need a prenup," quietly. "Did something happen?" He laughed at me, I said. Mocked me for even suggesting it. Said I'm not rich enough to need one. Christine was silent for a moment, then sighed. "Brittany, you don't need to prove anything. Just protect yourself. I can draft something fair." "Add an infidelity clause," I said. She paused. "What kind of clause?" "If he cheats physically or emotionally, he pays $1 million. Christine sat up. I could hear her sheets rustle. "That's a lot." "You sure?" "He won't even read it," I said, voice steady. "He thinks I'm too poor to matter." The next morning, I woke early, opened my laptop, and reviewed the document she'd sent overnight. It was simple, straightforward, clear. Assets protected. No spousal support if infidelity occurred. Penalty, $1 million payable within 1 year of breach. My finger hovered over the line that said infidelity clause. Did I really believe he'd betray me? No, not yet. But something in me, something instinctive, quiet, and sharp, whispered prepare. I'd always been the planner, the one who thought 3 steps ahead. Maybe that's why Bruce found me too serious. He once said he liked that I balanced him out. Funny. Balance feels different when one side is standing on glass. 2 days later, I printed the prenup and placed it on the counter next to his favorite breakfast scrambled eggs, black coffee, 2 sugars. He walked in wearing his gym clothes, hair still messy from sleep. "What's this?" he asked. "Just the prenup," I said lightly. "Thought you could take a look." He flipped through the pages for maybe 5 seconds, then smirked. "You really went through with this. You're unbelievable." "You don't have to sign it," I replied evenly. "But if you're serious about our marriage, I'd like both of us to have clear expectations." He laughed again, that same dismissive laugh that had started all of this. "Sure, sure. Whatever makes you feel important." He scribbled his signature, barely glancing at the text. "There. Happy." "Relieved," I said quietly. He didn't hear me. He was already snapping a photo of the paper, grinning. Gonna post this humoring my fiancé's trust issues. My stomach twisted, but I smiled. "Go ahead." He left for the gym, still laughing. When the door closed, I looked down at the signed paper and exhaled, half relief, half heartbreak. Later that night, Christine called. So did he sign? Without reading, I said, "You were right," she murmured. "He really thinks you're harmless." "I am," I replied. "Until I'm not." There was a pause. "You know, Brittany, that tone of yours worries me sometimes." "It shouldn't," I said softly. "I just believe people should face the consequences of underestimating others." Outside my window, the city lights blurred into silver lines. My reflection stared back, calm, unreadable, composed. But inside, something had shifted. A part of me knew the story wasn't ending in vows and white dresses. It was just beginning. I should have known the way he walked into the lawyer's office 28 minutes late, sunglasses still on, indoors, that the meeting would go exactly how I expected. Bruce didn't see paperwork. He saw a formality beneath him. "Sorry, traffic," he said, sliding into the chair next to me, iced coffee in hand. "So where do I sign, babe?" My lawyer, Christine, stayed professional. "Mr. Carter, you should read each section carefully. I recommend having your attorney review before signing." Bruce chuckled. "That's cute. You really think I need a lawyer for this?" He waved a dismissive hand. "Brittany's just nervous. I'll steal her Netflix password." He didn't even glance at me when he said it. Christine's pen tapped softly against the desk. "Mr. Carter, this document includes division of assets, spousal support, waivers, and several clauses." Yeah, sure." He flipped to the last page. "Where's the line?" Christine's eyes met mine's silent question. "Are you sure?" I gave a small nod. Bruce signed with a flourish, then snapped a photo of himself holding the pen. "Caption this: humoring my fiancé's paranoia." He laughed. I didn't. Later that night, he actually posted it. The caption read, "When your girl thinks she's marrying Elon Musk, #prenup vibes, #future hubby problems." His friends piled on immediately. "Bro, she thinks she's rich. Better protect that IKEA furniture, classic Brittany overthinking again." I read the comments alone in my living room, the blue light of my phone flickering across my face. Every felt like another small betrayal. I wasn't angry, though, not really. Anger would have given him too much power. I just saw him clearly for the first time. And I quietly screenshotted everything. The following week was full of wedding planning, chaos, venue contracts, catering, tastings, floral arrangements. He loved being the center of attention. I handled the details. Everywhere we went, he'd bring up the prenup like it was a punchline. At the cake shop, "Don't let her near the paperwork or she'll make you sign one too." At his parents' house, "Can you believe Brittany made me sign a prenup over her little retirement fund?" Everyone laughed. Even his mother Vivian gave me that polite, pitying smile people give when they think they're above you. I smiled back, always smiled, always calm. Inside, though, I was learning every expression, every reaction. Every person in his world assumed my worth was measured in zeros. One evening, while I was finalizing flower arrangements on my laptop, Bruce leaned against the doorframe, still scrolling his phone. "You know, babe," he said casually, "you don't have to overdo everything. The wedding doesn't have to be perfect. We're not royalty." "I like things to be clear," I said. "Predictable." He snorted. "That's what the prenup's for, right?" "Something like that." He winked. "Relax. I'm not going anywhere." I turned to look at him. The light from the hallway cut across his face, highlighting that smug confidence, the kind that only people who've never faced real consequences have. He didn't notice the way I studied him. He never did. 2 weeks later, we went to dinner with his old college friends, including Madison, his ex-girlfriend. She was beautiful, the kind of effortless beauty that doesn't even need trying. She laughed too loudly at his jokes, leaned a little too close when he talked. Bruce introduced me with a grin. "Madison, this is my fiancé. You know, the one who made me sign a prenup." Madison raised her eyebrows. "Oh, wow. You finally got tamed." Everyone laughed again. I smiled, polite, distant, unreadable. Inside, I took note of the glance they shared when they thought no one was looking. Familiar, lingering, unfinished. That night, I lay awake beside him while he snored softly. My mind replayed Madison's laugh, the way his hand brushed hers, too casually, too long. Was I paranoid? Maybe. But intuition is the body's way of whispering truth before the mind catches up. A week after that dinner, Christine called to check in. "You've been quiet lately," she said. "Everything okay with the Carter case? I mean the wedding." "Everything's fine," I said. "He's happy. He got what he wanted, attention." "And you?" I hesitated. "I got what I wanted too. Clarity." Christine exhaled softly through the phone. "Just promise me one thing. Whatever happens next, you'll stay calm." I smiled faintly. "Christine, I'm always calm." The morning after Bruce left early for a work brunch with Madison, apparently she'd started her own marketing agency and they were collaborating. He kissed my forehead before leaving. Don't wait up for me, babe. Might be a long meeting. I stood by the window after he drove away, watching the taillights fade into traffic. For the first time, I didn't feel anxious or jealous. I just felt still, because somewhere deep down I already knew the truth. And this time I wasn't the woman who'd beg for honesty or explanations. This time I was the woman who had proof in ink and in law. The kind of proof that made betrayal very expensive. It was a Tuesday, ordinary, uneventful quiet. The kind of day you never expect will end your relationship. I had a client meeting canceled last minute, so I came home earlier than usual. The sun was still high, warm light spilling across the driveway. Bruce's car was parked there, and next to it, a sleek silver Audi. I frowned. He hadn't mentioned anyone coming by. Inside, the house felt wrong, too quiet, too still. Then I heard a faint, rhythmic sound from upstairs. Laughter, muffled voices, and then something else, a soft moan that froze my blood. For 30 full seconds, I just stood there. My body refused to move. Every woman knows that sound. It's a language all its own, one that translates betrayal faster than any word ever could. My chest tightened, my pulse roared in my ears. I could have screamed, could have stormed up there and made a scene, but instead I reached for my phone. One tap recording. I climbed the stairs quietly, one hand gripping the railing, the other trembling slightly as I held the phone up. The door was half open. I could hear him. Bruce's voice, soft, familiar, sickening. And another voice, Madison. Her laugh, her sigh, her whisper. Your fiancé doesn't suspect anything, does she? Bruce chuckled. She's too busy designing color palettes to notice. The words sliced through me like glass. I pushed the door open. The scene that greeted me was cinematic, almost absurd. Bruce froze mid-motion, eyes wide. Madison shrieked, grabbing the sheets to cover herself. The air conditioner hummed indifferent. Brittany, this isn't, he started face draining of color. I held up my phone. Don't bother. I've been recording for 30 seconds. He scrambled for excuses, his voice breaking. It didn't mean anything. We were just reviewing marketing strategies, I asked calmly. Pretty thorough session. He flinched at my tone, because I wasn't crying. I wasn't yelling. I was calm. And calm to someone like Bruce was terrifying. Get out, I said to Madison. She hesitated. Brittany, please. Out. Her clothes were scattered across the floor. She picked them up, one by one, shaking. Bruce reached for her hand. Bruce, I said sharply, you have 60 seconds before I call your father and tell him exactly where his Audi is parked right now. That did it. She bolted half-dressed hair, messy shoes in hand. The front door slamming downstairs. Silence followed. Bruce sat on the edge of the bed, face buried in his hands. Brittany. I swear. Don't, I interrupted. You'll just make it worse. It was one mistake, he pleaded. I got carried away. 8 minutes, I said, glancing at the recording timer. That's how long this mistake lasted. He looked up at me, eyes red. Please, I love you. You can't just throw everything away. Everything, I repeated quietly. You mean the house I paid for? The ring I partially financed, or the trust I gave you? His voice rose, desperate. You can't just kick me out, Brittany. I live here. No, I said, my voice steady. You stay here. You don't live here. His jaw tightened. You're not serious. This prenup thing, you wouldn't actually enforce that. It's ridiculous. I tilted my head. You're right. It was ridiculous. A pause. Until now. He laughed, hollow, panicked. You're bluffing. $1 million. You don't even have a lawyer who'd waste time on that. Christine, I said softly. Remember her. His face fell. She's very good at her job, I continued. She already has a copy of the contract. And now she'll have the video, too. Brittany, he whispered, standing up slowly. You can't do this. We're supposed to get married in 3 months. You'll ruin both of us. I met his eyes, and for the first time I didn't see the man I loved. I saw a liar who thought I'd never stand up for myself. No, Bruce, I said. Only one of us ruined anything today. He clenched his fists, shaking. You think you can just walk away like this? My parents will destroy you. Let them try. I stepped aside and pointed to the door. He didn't move. So I walked to the closet, grabbed his suitcase, and tossed it on the bed. Pack. You can't pack. He stared at me, not in guilt, but in disbelief. The kind of disbelief privileged men feel when the world doesn't bend for them. Finally, he started throwing clothes into the suitcase. His movements were jerky, angry. When he reached the door, he turned back. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but at least I'll regret it on clean sheets. He slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frames on the wall. The silence afterward was heavier than I expected. I sat on the edge of the bed, Phone still in my hand, video still playing. Bruce's voice looped back again. She's too busy designing color palettes to notice. I hit pause. The screen froze on his face mid-laugh, and I whispered to the empty room, not anymore. 3 hours after Bruce left, the silence in my house was so sharp, it felt like sound itself had stopped breathing. The scent of Madison's perfume still lingered, something artificial and floral, mixed with the faint smell of his cologne. I opened every window, let the cold night air sweep through, and sat down with my phone. The first thing I did was send the video to Christine. No caption, just the file. 2 minutes later, she called. "Brittany." Her voice was steady, professional. "You okay?" "I'm fine." It was mostly true. My body was shaking, but my mind had never been clearer. "Is it what I think it is?" "Yes." A pause. Then "good. Keep everything. Every text, every message. Don't delete anything." "I already started a folder," I said. That made her laugh, a quiet, sad laugh. "Of course you did." By midnight, the text began. "Bruce, please can we talk? I made a mistake. I love you. Don't do this." I didn't reply. An hour later, "You're seriously going to throw away 2 years over one stupid night." And then, "You're pathetic. I never loved you anyway." By morning, it turned into threats. "I'll tell everyone you trapped me with that fake prenup. My dad will ruin your business. You'll regret this." I screenshotted every message, every word. By noon, my phone rang again, this time Vivian Carter. "Brittany, darling," she began, her tone dripping with false sweetness. "Bruce told me about your little disagreement." "Disagreement," I repeated, voice flat. She hesitated. "Yes. He said there was a misunderstanding. I'm sure whatever it is, it can be resolved privately." "There's a video, Vivian." A pause, then a sharp inhale. "He mentioned that." "You really plan to use it? That's cruel, Brittany." He's distraught. "Cruel," I echoed. "You mean like cheating on your fiancé?" She sighed, long, theatrical. "He's young. People make mistakes. You're older. You should know better than to let one impulsive act destroy his life." I clenched my jaw. "He destroyed ours, not me." "Brittany," her voice hardened. "I'm asking you as a woman, don't drag our family through scandal. Just let it go." "And what happens to the contract he signed?" "Contracts can be reconsidered." "So can relationships," I said. "Goodbye, Vivian." I hung up before she could answer. The next day, the front door burst open. Christine's warning. They might try intimidation came too late. Richard Carter. Bruce's father walked straight into my office, ignoring my assistant's protests. He pointed at me red-faced. "You little opportunist. You think you can extort my son for $1 million. I didn't even stand up. "Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. Just so you know, this conversation is being recorded for my safety." That stopped him mid-sentence. "You're recording me." "I record every client meeting," I said. Old habit. He glared. "You'll regret this, Brittany. That prenup won't hold. No judge will uphold $1 million penalty. It's absurd." "Your son laughed at it," I said quietly. "Said it didn't matter because I wasn't rich enough for it to matter." "Don't play victim. You tricked him." "Tricked," I smiled faintly. "He mocked it, posted about it, signed it in front of witnesses." "That's not tricked, Mr. Carter. That's arrogance." His fist clenched. "You're done. You'll never get a cent." "I don't need threats," I said evenly. "I need payment, or court will decide for us." His face darkened. "You think you can take on our family?" "Not your family," I said. "Just your son." He stormed out, slamming the door so hard one of my framed certificates fell off the wall. That night, I sat at my dining table, the fallen frame beside me, glass cracked diagonally across the words, "Certificate of Incorporation." Somehow it felt symbolic, my old life splitting open. My phone buzzed again. A new message. "Bruce, you really called my dad. What the hell is wrong with you?" I didn't answer. He sent another. "You're evil. You planned this. You always wanted to ruin me." And then minutes later, "Please, Brittany, don't do this. Let's just talk." For the first time, I felt something close to pity. But pity is dangerous. Pity forgives too easily. So instead, I wrote back one line. "Actions have consequences. You sign them yourself." Then I blocked his number. The next morning, Christine came by my office. She dropped a folder on my desk. "You're officially represented. Every call, every threat, every message now comes through me." I nodded. "Good. I'm tired of playing nice." She smiled faintly. "You know, most people would be falling apart right now." "I did," I said. "You just didn't see it." Christine studied me for a long moment. "Brittany, are you sure this isn't about revenge?" I thought about that. About Bruce's laughter, his friends' comments, the way everyone treated my success like a hobby. I thought about the way he said, "You're not rich enough to need a prenup." "No," I said finally. "It's not about revenge. It's about teaching him to read what he signs and who he's signing his future to." Christine smiled almost sadly. You've changed. No, I said softly. I just stopped apologizing for being smart. That night before I went to bed, I reopened the recording one last time, not to torture myself, but to remember. To remember the sound of betrayal the moment clarity arrived. I closed the video, placed the phone face down, and whispered to the dark. They laughed at my prenup. Let's see who's laughing now. When Christine said they'll fight dirty, I didn't realize how fast she meant. By Monday morning, 3 days after Richard's outburst in my office, a thick envelope arrived by courier, notice of intent to sue. Bruce was suing me for fraudulent inducement, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and my personal favorite, unconscionable contract terms. Christine read it over, lips curling into a smirk. They're trying to scare you. Is it working? I asked. She looked up. Only if you start doubting the truth. Do you? No, I said, not for a second. Bruce had hired one of those expensive high-profile lawyers his family used whenever bad press threatened their image, Gregory Hutchinson. He called Christine that same afternoon. She put him on speaker so I could listen quietly. Christine, his smooth voice began. I've reviewed the prenuptial agreement your client drafted. It's problematic. Christine smiled. Problematic for who, exactly? For both parties. A $1 million infidelity clause for a woman of modest means. I see, Christine interrupted. You're implying my client's financial standing invalidates her right to boundaries. There was a pause, then a careful, patronizing chuckle. No, of course not. I'm merely saying the clause could be deemed punitive in nature. She signed it voluntarily, Christine said. In fact, there's a video of her laughing about it while signing. Silence. I mouthed silently, eyes narrowing. Christine covered the mic, whispering. He means Bruce's team. They're trying to rewrite gender in their own narrative. Typical strategy frame, you as manipulative, him as naive. Then she uncovered the mic. Gregory, if your client truly feels defrauded, discovery will be very interesting. Discovery, yes. The process where we share evidence, text messages, social media posts, the video of the infidelity, the posts where he mocked the contract and called it a joke. The lawyer's smooth tone cracked for half a second. There's no need to get hostile. I'm not hostile, Christine said pleasantly. Just thorough. He cleared his throat. My client is willing to settle quietly. No penalty, no claims, no public statements. Christine glanced at me. I shook my head. Offer rejected, she said. Your client can either honor his signature or prepare for court. Gregory exhaled through his nose. You're playing a dangerous game, Christine. Dangerous for whom, she replied. He hung up. Christine turned to me, eyes gleaming. You ready for the fun part? What's the fun part? Discovery. Over the next 2 weeks, Christine and her team began collecting everything. We subpoenaed Bruce's financial records, Madison's business documents, and every communication between them. And what we found made my stomach twist. Bruce hadn't just been unfaithful. He'd been using me. 8 months before the wedding, he'd been funneling part of my business's joint savings money. He'd convinced me to co-invest into his marketing startup with Madison. That startup registered entirely under Madison's name. Every transaction, his name attached as silent investor. Christine looked up from the file. He was planning to marry you, merge assets, and then transfer funds through her company post-marriage. It's fraud, Brittany. My throat felt dry. So all those meetings, late nights, weren't business, she said quietly. They were groundwork for theft. When our counterclaim was filed, breach of contract, emotional distress, and premeditated financial deception, the Carters' legal team went silent for a week. Then suddenly screenshots leaked online. Not mine, theirs. A Reddit thread appeared titled, Wealthy Heir Caught Cheating Fiancé Exposes Prenup Twist. Someone had anonymously uploaded the audio of the signing day Bruce laughing, saying, she thinks she's Elon Musk. Within 24 hours, the story spread across social media. People called me the smart fiancé who planned ahead. Women in the comments wrote, Queen energy. She didn't get mad. She got legal. Always read what you sign. Meanwhile, Bruce's reputation imploded. His business partners distanced themselves. His mother disabled her Instagram comments. His father pulled their family name from the charity event circuit. Bruce the Golden Boy was no longer golden. Christine watched it all unfold, expression unreadable. You didn't leak that, did you? I shook my head. Did you? She smiled faintly. Of course not. But karma works fast when screenshots exist. I smiled too, but there was no joy in it. Just quiet relief. Vivian called again 2 days later, her voice brittle. Brittany, please, she said. Bruce is suffering. He's lost clients, friends, everything. What more do you want? Accountability, I said. You've already humiliated him. No, I said softly. He humiliated himself. I just provided the caption. That night, I poured myself a glass of wine and opened my laptop. Christine had sent over the updated evidence list for court. In it were screenshots of Bruce's mocking posts, his text messages admitting guilt, financial transfers to Madison's company, the full video evidence. At the bottom, Christine had added a note. He underestimated the wrong woman. I sat there for a long time staring at that line. Maybe I should have felt vindicated, but all I felt was tired. Betrayal takes something from you, not just love, but the version of yourself who believed you were safe. I whispered into the quiet, "Let them take me to court. I have the truth. That's enough." And for the first time since this began, I slept without checking my phone. 3 weeks later, the Carter name was in headlines for all the wrong reasons. Every business magazine and gossip blog had a version of the same story. Air faces $1 million penalty after infidelity clause backfires. She outsmarted him. The prenup he mocked became his undoing. Bruce's friends stopped calling. His father's board pressured him to resolve the matter quietly. And his mother, the ever-poised Vivian, deleted her social media accounts entirely. I didn't post a thing, didn't gloat, didn't comment. I just watched it unfold like a storm I'd already evacuated from. Christine called one morning, voice brisk. Gregory's reached out. They want to negotiate. I exhaled slowly. Of course they do. We met that afternoon in Christine's glass-walled conference room. The city stretched out behind her, sunlight flashing off the skyline, the world looking deceptively calm. Gregory arrived alone this time. Suit immaculate, but his confidence dulled. He placed a folder on the table. My client would like to settle. Christine leaned back in her chair. We're listening. $500,000. Immediate transfer. NDA included. I didn't even blink. No NDA. Full payment. $1 million. Gregory smiled thinly. That's not feasible. Christine shrugged. Then we go to court. The video will become public record. He hesitated. You'd really expose him like that. Christine's voice was cool. Your client exposed himself. Literally. For a moment, silence stretched between us. Then Gregory sighed. $700,000 up front. $300,000 over 12 months. Christine turned to me. What do you think? I studied him the expensive watch that rehearsed, calm the faint panic beneath his eyes. Fine, I said finally. 730 days. The rest within a year. No gag orders, no revisions. Gregory nodded once. You'll have the wire confirmation by the end of the week. The following Friday, Christine called again. The transfer cleared. I opened my banking app, staring at the 7 figures glowing on the screen. For a moment, my hands shook. Not because of greed, because of what it represented. Not revenge, not even victory, but proof that for once, I hadn't been dismissed, mocked, or talked over. Christine's voice softened. You did it, Brittany. No, I said quietly. He did it to himself. A week later, I stopped by Christine's office to drop off final signatures. In her waiting area hung a framed document, my prenup. Beneath it, a small plaque read, Always read the fine print. I smiled despite myself. You framed it. Christine shrugged. Couldn't resist. It's poetic. Morbidly poetic, I murmured. Still, she said, you should be proud. You turned the thing they laughed at into a masterpiece of self-respect. Pride's a strange word, I said. It doesn't feel like pride. It feels like I finished a long, painful class in human behavior. Christine raised an eyebrow. And what's the lesson? Never underestimate someone who's quiet when you mock them. The money sat untouched in my account. I didn't move, it didn't invest it. I just left it there, a quiet monument to everything I'd endured. Some nights I'd stare at it and wonder what it really was. A victory fund, a heartbreak tax. Or just the exact price of believing someone's promises. Bruce had gone silent since the settlement, but whispers reached me through mutual friends through the city's rumor circuit. He'd sold one of his father's properties to cover the payment. Madison had vanished from her boutique agency after their investors pulled out. And Vivian, who once called me a gold digger with good manners, was now hosting charity events for women's empowerment. I almost laughed. One afternoon, while organizing old design files, I found the original prenup draft on my laptop. The file name made me pause. Love and Liability v2.doc. Christine had chosen that name as a joke, but now it felt prophetic. I opened it, scrolling through the pages, rereading the clause that changed everything. Any form of infidelity, physical or emotional, shall incur a penalty of $1,000 payable to the undersigned party within 12 months. I stared at that line until the words blurred. Then I whispered to myself, it wasn't about the money. It was about finally being taken seriously. That night, I poured a glass of wine, stepped onto my balcony, and let the city lights hum beneath me. The breeze was warm, the kind that carried hints of rain and new beginnings. For the first time in months, I wasn't waiting for a message, or replaying a memory, or defending my sanity. I was just still. Christine texted me later that evening. Just heard from Hutchinson's firm. Their clients agreed to withdraw all suits. It's officially over. I smiled. Good. Tell them I said thank you for signing so quickly. She replied with one emoji. I laughed quietly. Put my phone away and whispered into the night. He laughed at my prenup. Now he pays for every laugh. 2 months after this settlement, life had grown eerily peaceful. My mornings were quiet again, coffee sunrise, the soft click of my laptop keys as I worked on new design projects. No calls from lawyers, no gossip blogs, no messages from him. Silence, beautiful, earned silence, until the day the silence knocked on my door. It was a Thursday afternoon. The sky was gray, heavy with rain that hadn't yet fallen. I'd just finished a client call when my intercom buzzed. Brittany Curran. The voice was low, almost hesitant. My stomach tightened. I knew that voice. Bruce, I said flatly. What do you want? Please, just a few minutes. Against my better judgment, I buzzed him in. Maybe I wanted to see him one last time, the ghost of the man I'd once loved, before I finally buried what was left. He looked different, thinner, paler, dressed in muted clothes that didn't fit the golden boy image he once wore like a badge. Brittany, he began, voice low. You look good. I folded my arms. You have 2 minutes. He exhaled shakily. I came to apologize. I know that probably means nothing to you now, but... You're right, it doesn't. His jaw tensed. Can you just hear me out? I said nothing. I messed up. I know that. I lost everything because of you. I raised an eyebrow. Because of me. He caught himself. Because of what I did. I meant that. Did you? I asked. Or are you just here because your father finally stopped covering your bills? He looked away. You really think I'm that pathetic? I didn't answer. Silence was crueler. He glanced around my apartment, the same one he used to mock for being too minimalist. I can't believe you went through with it, he murmured. The clause. The lawyers. The settlement. You signed it. I didn't read it. That's not my fault, I said evenly. It's a very expensive lesson about reading what you sign. He laughed bitterly. You tricked me. I asked you to sign it, I said. You mocked me for it. You said I wasn't rich enough to protect myself. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. His shoulders slumped. Brittany, I loved you. I almost laughed, not out of cruelty, but disbelief. You loved the idea of me, the image, the stability, but you never respected me. His eyes glistened. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said, stepping closer. You thought you could cheat, humiliate me publicly, and still walk away clean because I'd forgive you. Because that's what nice girls do. He flinched. Well, I continued. I stopped being nice the day you made me feel small. He took a shaky breath. You destroyed me, Brittany. No, I said quietly. You destroyed us. I just enforced the terms. He stared at the floor for a long time before whispering, No one will marry me now. I let out a short, humorless laugh. That's not my problem. His tone shifted sharp and desperate. You're a vindictive Bosch. You planned this. You wanted to ruin me. I planned to protect myself, I said, voice steady. You did the rest. He stepped closer, but I didn't back away. You knew I wouldn't read it, he said. You counted on it. Yes, I said simply, because I knew you'd never take me seriously until you paid the price for not doing so. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The truth hung heavy between us, undeniable, cold, final. When he finally turned to leave, he paused at the door. You really don't feel anything for me anymore. I looked at him for a long moment. For a brief second, I saw the man he used to be, the one who once made me laugh, who made me believe in partnership. Then I remembered his voice on that recording, the way he mocked me to Madison. I feel relief, I said, that I don't have to waste any more love on someone who thought I was beneath him. He nodded slowly, then left. The door clicked shut, and with it every last piece of him vanished from my life. That evening I sat at my desk and opened my bank app again. The second installment, the final $300,000 had arrived. Christine texted a single message. Transfer complete. He's officially paid in full. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Then it's done. She answered. You know what I'm going to say, right? Always. Always read the fine print. Later that night, I walked onto my balcony again. The rain had finally started soft and steady. I let it fall across my face and whispered to the city below. They said I wasn't rich enough for a prenup. Turns out I was just rich enough for him to betray me and smart enough to make him regret it. I closed my eyes. The thunder rolled softly in the distance, but inside me there was only stillness. No anger, No bitterness. Just peace, the kind you earn when you finally stop apologizing for protecting yourself. To anyone listening, get everything in writing, get it reviewed, and for the love of your future, read what you sign. Some lessons cost a fortune, but self-respect, that's priceless.